Hey guys, quick video update with the decoupling effect. Transmitter is using less than 20 watts, 16. This bulb is dimly lit. We're barely in range to get it lit. Those resonant caps played a huge role. Here's the interesting effect. I disconnect the halogen load and watch my current, my wattage go down. So when the load isn't connected, we consume 19 watts. When the load is connected, we consume 16 and a half. So that's the weird effect I wanted to show. Obviously we're getting a decent amount of current here that could be used to charge batteries and whatnot. And keep in mind, this is going, that's going dimly. We still have incredible wireless power. And also, I wanted to show the spark color of this thing. They're very unusual. I've never seen sparks quite this color before. Very interesting spark color. It's almost like an etheric blue color. I'm gonna zoom right in, try and hold it steady and show you. And these are the sparks coming off of the receiver coil. The resonant receiver coil. That runs the halogen. I just found the spark color a little odd. Usually RF sparks are yellow. So is it a new form of energy that we're creating or conjuring up? Or pumping with the transmitter? I'm not sure. It's worth a theory, but at the end of the day, it's all just theory. These are what the sparks look like that come off the transmitter. Very dim sparks, so this isn't your traditional Tesla coil that shoots massive sparks. Keep in mind, we're able to run a halogen from a resonant receiver off of a transmitter that hardly sparks. It's optimized for efficiency. I dropped my screwdriver. Alright, so very interesting. Almost like a bluish plasma spark. And these sparks are new. They always used to be a yellow color, but ever since I added a capacitor on my transistor, they changed color. I figured I'd document that effect. And the transistor, the capacitor, helps the transistor switch more efficiently. It's between the base and the emitter. And this bulb is giving off real heat. Hurts to touch. I'm wondering if the heat could be captured in like a Peltier module. But it's very interesting. We'll do some quick test readings in a second after I show you more of those cool sparks. I never usually do spark videos, but I just figured I'd show that my device produces minimal sparks, and the sparks it does produce are an interesting color. Almost like an etheric blue color. I'm going to turn it up a bit and see if we can really see those sparks. Just don't want to blow anything. Alright, so that's a little brighter. There you go, there's those cool colored sparks. Looks like they're like a bluish white. And keep Keep in mind, I can transmit this type of electricity over extremely thin wires with no loss. I'll try and zoom in on that a little bit, and then I'll turn the system back down to where it was. And this receiver coil can absolutely pulse recharge supercapacitors and special types of batteries to run inverter circuitry that can, in theory, run almost indefinitely and charge very quickly. There's those really cool colored sparks. It's like a radiant energy spark. So I'll turn it back down to where it was and do some detection readings. I believe that's where we were. So now we will do some readings. See how far back the field goes. The field is even collected on metal. This whole metal area will accumulate the field. Wire will accumulate the field. Coils will accumulate the field. The field is present in almost every electrical component and wire. And I'll take out the big guns, the more fancy detector that I wanted to show last time, but I got interrupted by a serious phone call. So this thing reads voltage per meter squared, radiation, magnetic flux. It reads a lot of different things. Come on, focus. $1,500 phone and it won't focus. There we go. So, anyway, I'll demonstrate the flux. And this is voltage per square meter, so in theory, this is the voltage we have per square meter. And if you work your Tesla coil the right way, all Tesla coils produce a current equal to their voltage. So, in theory, that's how much you have. If you have a 10,000 volt coil, you also have a 10,000 amp coil as well, if you know how to ground it properly and work the energy. If you know how to pump it effectively. The EMF is in every metal object accumulated, as you see. And this thing's real cool to hold on stones that you can try and read as a power source. Certain stones actually give off RF. As you see, it's present everywhere. It's really high right here. The radiant energy is really collected in this spot. And that can be demonstrated by taking this little wireless receiver light and touching it to the metal here. It'll glow just as I bring it close to the metal. And you'll see that the meter says this spot is hot. Very hot. So something in this spot could receive a tremendous amount of power in theory. And if I properly contact the metal, if I get through the paint, this thing will get very bright. Even on my soldering iron, like, look, that's crazy, look at that. And doing these types of effects don't put an electrical strain on the transmitter in any way. So, I wanted to show that. I'll try and keep this vid under 10 minutes, and keep in mind, we're able to do that, drive high current devices with a minimal spark, proper built Tesla coil, and we still have impressive wireless abilities. Like, it's getting, and keep in mind, I could drive this at 500 volts DC if I wanted, at half an amp, and the effects would become phenomenal. Like, we're just scratching the surface with what it can do. And thank you again, everybody who supports this work. I'd like to thank everyone again who likes, subscribes, and is a Patreon member. You guys' support is amazing, and I really appreciate it. And just to show you how energy efficient this thing is, I'll show you what it can do. We'll bring it up at... That's a fraction of a watt. 6 volts, fraction of a watt. And look what we still have. Look how efficient this thing is. It's nuts. And keep in mind the loads are still connected. And we still have that kind of efficiency. And I still got the effect over here. Dim, but it's there. It's like this thing is able to stimulate an environmental charge and activate it and cause it to release energy in a kind of way. I'll bring this up to less than a quarter watt. And look how alive it became. Just at less than a quarter watt. See if we can light a fluorescent at less than a quarter watt. Nope. I believe it lights at... Still nothing. I believe it's half a watt. Or a third of a watt. Somewhere in between it'll light. There we go. So, the field is very intense somewhere in this spot. There we go. So, less than half a watt, we can wirelessly light a fluorescent. While the received loads are still connected. They're not active yet because there's not enough power in the system, but they are connected. And it doesn't impede the system in any way when it's fine-tuned. So, that's what I wanted to show. And thank you, everybody.